Hello, strong people. It is week 7, day 1 of Northeast Regional Battle at the Bridge Prep. Press day, as usual, for the first day of the week. It's so stupid hot in here. I would bet anything, whatever's in my bank account, that it's 100 degrees in here at least. It's 85 outside, and it's absolutely every bit of 100 degrees in here. Feels like I'm breathing, like it feels like I stuck my mouth on a heating vent, and then I'm just breathing that air. And I don't know if you can tell, but I'm just drip. I haven't done anything. I put my sleeves on and my shoes, and I'm sweating profusely. And today is not the day for it to be this hot. We're less than 2 weeks out now, so heavy weights are kind of pretty much died down. But I have 2 sets of 12 at 275 on log today. Clean and press. Every rep. Clean and press every rep. That's going to be rough. If I perish, so be it. I hope someone uploads this video on my behalf. If I live, that's cool. Expecting to vomit, but we'll see. My wife walked by and she's looking at me weird because I'm talking into the camera. That's how it is when you're a YouTube star. Just kidding. I'm so far from that, and I don't really have any aspirations to be one of those. So if it happens, that'd be cool. But it's really hot in here. I'm sweating like profusely. All right, let's press. Well, that went not good. As usual, like 2 weeks out, even the final big heavy event session is always kind of rough. It's just how nature of the beast. But this final 2 weeks of prep, this week specifically, your legs are just like non-existent. Fatigue is like all-time high for the training cycle, and it just is what it is at this point in prep. You don't have a whole lot to do, but what you do have to do is kind of challenging. Like that was 2 sets of 12, and I didn't even get close. I think I got like sets of 8, maybe 7 on the second one. I don't know, but Vipers felt good. I felt like I had the strength up top, but I didn't have the leg or hip drive to really, kind of flick the log up. It just wasn't there. And I kind of knew that based on how warm-ups went. They didn't feel good either. But that's kind of how it is. It's just how it is 2 weeks out. So I'm like brain dead right now from that. I'm exhausted. It doesn't help that it's disturbingly hot in here. Even now that I've opened, since I'm done pressing, I opened up the other side of the door, and it's not even like, it's not even that much cooler. And it's not windy. There's like no breeze, which usually there is a pretty decent breeze, but ain't happening right now. I mean, to be fatigued, about a year, I guess a little. I mean, March of last year, we had a 285 log for reps in a show, and I hit 7, and that one, or 280, 285, one of the two, and I vipered 5 reps, and then pressed out the last 2, and that was like all I could do to do that. And today, 275, vipered like 7, 8 reps, whatever it was, at the highest fatigue I will be in this prep cycle. So that's some major improvement right there. My back and hips are pretty sore after that already. Just already being fatigued already, and then kind of just adding to it with that much volume. Doesn't feel very good. I don't know. I'm not mad about that. I mean, it's not great. It's not what was programmed, but that's how these 2 weeks. The thing about the last 2 weeks of prep is that program might say something, but if it ain't feeling right, don't push it, because you're probably going to do more damage than good being this close to game day and pushing through something that might hurt or might feel off. It's better just let it slide. You're not going to get any stronger in these last 2 weeks, but you can definitely get less strong. So I think I only have some lat pull downs next, actually. I think that's literally it for today. So I'll check in with you whenever I set up for my lat pull downs. Oh, all right. Took a slight intermission there to make sure I didn't throw up. Got some water in me, and it felt like it just sat in my stomach for a second. I was like, that's not a good feeling. So I waited it out. And if you see me looking over that way a little bit, it's because there's a stink bug right there, or 2, that are freeloading. They're living in this shed without my permission, so I will take care of them at some point. I forgot that I knew I had lat pull downs, 3 sets of 10, but I also have some core work after that. But this is probably going to be all I show. Just because. Nothing, no real reason. I don't want to talk for too much in these videos, so let's do a set, and then we'll talk some more. Oh, that was 10. Me no math good right now. So the work is pretty much done for this competition. It's gonna be a tough show with the recent signups. We'll see though. Anything's possible. And there's a lot of thought going into this show. There's a lot of what ifs, after. Like, for instance, today, they finally announced the Strongman Corp national events. It's like the last weekend or second to last weekend in September. It's like breathing in soup out here. And I think I have allergies. But they announced the events, 6 events like usual. And it's max. What did they say the first event was? I don't know the order, but I'll try to get all 6. So there's a max Kratos / elephant bar deadlift. The Kratos bar is it's a bar by Cerberus Strength, extremely well known in the strongman world. It's a 10-foot bar meant for deadlifting, strongman specific, really. So 10 feet, a little bit wobblier. I don't know if the diameter. It's a 28.5 millimeter bar, and I don't know what a deadlift bar usually is. I'm really bad at that. I don't know much about like regular. Like, I know an axle is like 2 inches, but I don't know the size of a power bar or deadlift bar. I know deadlift bars are thinner, so I don't know if this has the thickness or thinness, whichever, of a deadlift bar or a power bar. I'll have to look at that. That would be cool, though. I would love to pull on a bar like that. I've always wanted to, and I just haven't had a reason. There's a max height sandbag toss. So last year we had a max weight over 16 feet. This year it's max height. So there's going to be a standard weight. I don't know what it is yet. They didn't say that. I'm assuming rules will be out shortly. Maybe. I don't know. But max weight is generally 35, 40 pounds. At World's Strongest Man, they just did a keg for height. And I think it was 33 pounds, 15 kilos. So it's going to depend how high the center we're in is too, the convention center. So I don't even know what exactly. I mean, like, I know where it is, Greenville, South Carolina, I think, but I don't know if they've announced the exact spot. Maybe not. I don't know. So if they don't want crazy heights, maybe they'll do 40 pounds. If they do want to see some crazy heights, maybe drop it to 35, 33. I don't know. But I like that event. I like that more than max weight. What else? There's another one on day 1. Conan's wheel. That's what it is. I have not done a Conan's wheel in competition since my very first competition. And it was terrible. That Conan's wheel was 600 pounds, I think. The weight of a Conan's wheel doesn't matter that much because it kind of depends, where that weight sits on the arm to a point. But I mean, that event is, any front carry like that's just kind of brutal because it's just like, pick it up and ride it like you stole it until you black out, pretty much. Really all there is to it. There's things here and there you can do, but that's the basis of it. So I'll do another set and we'll talk about the other events. So we did Conan's wheel, sandbag, deadlift bar, max deadlift, log axle ladder. So generally when it's a ladder, it's, a light implement to a heavy implement. It could be 3 to 5 implements. It could be 6, just depends. I don't anticipate there being 6. I could see 4 maybe. So I'm assuming, I don't know which one's first. I mean, it's either going to be log or axle first, and then I'm assuming the next bar, like if it's log first, probably go log, axle, just guessing, or vice versa if axle's first. And I don't know if they do timed, meaning whoever finishes all bars fastest wins, or if it would be reps at the end. So say there's 4 bars, you do 3, you get to the 4th, and then you rep out the 4th to decide. it can be done both ways. So, of course, with reps, there's a chance of a tie. So if you want to avoid ties, you go by time, or just lifts more than others, avoid the tie that way. But as promoters, if you want to avoid ties on an event, just make it timed. Chances are pretty slim they're going to tie. Not that it's not possible, but a lot less likely. And I like that event. I mean, I'm training log axle right now, so that wouldn't be anything out of the norm. Sandbag steeplechase, which if you watched any of World's Strongest Man this year, or even some Giants live shows had it, they had one. So I think the way they did it this year at Worlds, it was, I don't know how long the whole thing was. We'll say 50 feet. So at the 25-foot mark, there's a bar, a crossbar. So you have 2 or 3. They did 3. I don't know if we would do 3. It just depends. But say there's 2 sandbags. You pick up the first one, you run 25 feet, throw it over the bar. You run back 25 feet to the start, grab the second bag, run it, throw it over the crossbar, go around the crossbar, pick up the first bag, run it to the finish line, come back to the second bag, finish it, run it to the finish line. So I was just saying how that would be a cool event to do. So that's cool. And what is, farmers with a turn. So I don't know if that means 50 down, 50 back, as fast as you can without setting it down, or I don't really know how they would do the turn. Trying to think, because if you're turning, you wouldn't be allowed to set it down and reset it at the end of the line to come back. And usually, they want people to finish, so drops are almost always allowed. So I'm trying to think of how they would do that if they were to allow drops as well. Or maybe they just make it light enough that they wouldn't necessarily have to worry about drops. I don't know. That one's kind of tough. I didn't think about that till just now. But throwing a turn to farmers definitely adds a little bit of it's tough. If you've never done it, I've done it. It's been a long time. I've never done it in a show, but there's a certain technique to it, and it's not easy. I don't know. I like the idea of adding in the turn. I want to know how they're going to do it exactly. So, and that's if I do nationals. There's a lot depending on June 1st. So, obviously, I probably said this before, but if I win, I automatically qualify for the Arnold next year in March. At least it's always been March, first weekend. If I don't win, then I don't qualify for the Arnold, obviously, but I would get my nationals invite if I've done, top 5 or whatever. So there's that. But then the big thing that I'm aiming for this year is OSG, Official Strongman Games, which, if you're unfamiliar, is the official route to World's Strongest Man, the official unofficial. So those online qualifiers for OSG run from the beginning of July to the end of August, usually. That's what it's been. So, and I believe that I would need to put in a decent real prep for the OSG qualifiers in order to qualify. So they won't announce the events until, I'm assuming, the beginning of July when they first start. That way everybody has the same amount of time to train for it. I don't know. I don't know how they do it exactly, because I've paid attention, but not super closely, at least until now, because I want to do it. So I'm going to have a month. Obviously, Bridge, this next show is on June 1st. So I'm going to have a month after that, to the beginning of July, to kind of do whatever, sort out maybe some tweaks, injuries, whatever, if I have some. Hopefully not, but and then kind of, figure out what I want to do from there. Because it's going to, I'm planning on doing a decent prep for these OSG qualifiers. Of course, I have weddings and some other stuff, not plural. I think one wedding and maybe another concert, something going on in July and August. So there's a couple weekends there where I won't be able to do anything. So I'm going to have to plan around that. But I do think I'll need a decent prep in order to actually qualify, depending on what the events are, who knows. But if I were to only focus on the OSG qualifying events, then I would have basically no time to prep for the national events, because the qualifier ends the end of August. So then nationals is September 21st or whatever, third weekend, fourth weekend. So I'd have 3 weeks pretty much to prep for nationals, which is not ideal for a national show. I don't believe I'm strong enough to just go in there and do really well, without a full prep. So it just depends. Of course, the events for nationals are probably not going to be overly different than OSG qualifiers. Maybe. I'm going to be pressing, obviously. I'm going to be deadlifting, I assume. And the third event, it's been farmers a lot recently, so maybe they'll do farmers again. So obviously there's farmers at nationals, so maybe they'll be the same. It just depends. Like Conan's wheel, I'd have to throw in, and that would hurt. Bag toss, that wouldn't be a big deal to throw in. It's pretty minimal effort. Not minimal effort, but it's low, not very taxing on the body. You're not like dead after doing some sandbag throws. So let's do another set. Finish off the last set, and we'll keep yapping. So, I don't like the idea of prepping for multiple shows at once, but 3, because OSG is going to require max effort. I don't know. I'm a little bit torn. Winning this next show, regionals, would put, it would kind of put me in a position where I wouldn't need to do nationals. So I don't know. I like nationals. I want to do nationals. And if I don't do nationals, then that's a pretty big gap as well between June 1st and December. That would be the longest I've gone without competing in quite some time. And that may be a really good thing too, though. I like competing because I get used to the flow of doing it, what I need to do, my routine. But at the same time, that would give me a lot of time to work on weaknesses. And that's if I qualify. Now, the thing is, I've talked about it before, I know, but the iffy part about that is I will not know if I qualify for OSG until, beginning of September, middle September. So at that point, it would almost definitely be too late to sign up for nationals if I hadn't already. And I don't believe they're refundable if I were to sign up and then not go. So then there's a chance that if I'm banking on qualifying for OSG and I decide not to do nationals, there's a chance that I could not qualify for OSG because I just didn't do good enough in the qualifiers. And that there's a chance I don't do nationals at the same time because I just didn't sign up or I didn't qualify, which is technically a possibility. So then I'd be stuck with not having a single competition planned the rest of the year. Which also it might be a great thing. I don't like the idea of it because I love competing and having that tangible goal. But at the same time, a nice off season, although not what I necessarily want, could be what I need. So it's something to talk over with my coach. I got a lot of thinking to do. I'm torn, undecided. Plus, we have our wedding anniversary in there, 2 years middle of October, so I gotta do something cool for that too. I don't know. All right, tomorrow rest day. Wednesday, some bag toss, I believe, and then some banded deadlifts. I'm going to wear a suit for those. They're going to be light, but I want to keep the suit on just to maintain that positioning and feel it out. Plus, with a little bit of band tension, I think I'll really be able to feel the lockout, feel what I need to do to make sure that's good. Because generally speaking, a suit doesn't really help a lockout. It's meant to help you off the floor because there's all that tension. So generally, which I haven't really noticed too much of. I'm kind of adjusting my stance to, rather than use all my quads off the floor, I'm using the suit to get off the floor. And I'm putting my body in a better position to lock out. So although I am not using as much power as I could off the floor, that's kind of what the suit helps. So I'm sacrificing floor speed for a smoother lockout, which I think I can get away with if I'm wearing a suit. That could just be me blabbering. I don't know if that's how that works, but it feels that way. So I'm going to go with it. All right. These bugs are going to get it after I shut this camera off. Anyway, go out, get strong, stay strong. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.